This is the .NET client on my laptop. Compliance manager, we have, well, I would say 3 main workspaces: explore, activity, audit, reports, and administration. So I decided to add only one SQL Server on that environment. I get the high-level picture for that SQL Server. And if I click on it, I will see exactly the details related to the privileged users. So I get this yellow and red warning, critical thresholds, that can be useful if you want to visually have some alerts in real time about a peak regarding the privileged user. Overall activity, again, if I want to see the security, I will click on security. What about the failed logins, DDR, and so on. So everything is traced regarding the recent audit events at the bottom of the main screen. But if I want, I can also look at the audit events to look at 100% of the events raised for that particular SQL Server. And I can filter based on the logins, right? Based on the application, based on the hosts, based on the types, based on the categories, DDL, DML, login, security. Or I can also enable the grouping. So for example, with my mouse, drag and drop category. Yes, I want to filter my events per category, right? For example, I want to look at the DML plus expand. Well, then I want to filter by event type in that particular category, drag and drop. Okay, so I come back to the category DML. Now I'm filtering by event type, begin, commit transaction, or execute. Yes, I want to look at the execute. Now I want to look at the target object, because I could have yes, let's continue with the logins. DML, executes, and logins, two Windows accounts, local accounts that are used. Okay, plus Eric, and I will see exactly the target object for that particular logins. Okay, so this is a way to look at each individual Eric and then the target object. And then once done, I get the 5th events. And if I double click on it, I will go into the details of that particular events, right? So everything is in that, and especially the details regarding that event. So that's a way of looking for one particular event in any kind of category, and you will double click to see the details of each individual event. So, but let's go to the properties. When you start with the product, you add a new SQL Server, and when I right click on it, I get the properties option, where I can effectively decide to audit some of all activities, you know. So by default in my environment, I checked all the box, logins, logouts, failed logins, security changes like grant, revoke, etc. Database, DDL, create, drop database, and so on. Then I want to filter events based on the past access check. I am using the trace event. What about the trusted user? Trusted user are users that you don't want to audit because you trust them. That's it. So for example, DBA or some other people in the company. While the privileged user is the user that you absolutely want to audit. So for example, I put Eric, myself in that privileged user tab. I absolutely want to audit that user, but I don't want to audit all activities done by that user. I just want to audit some of them. I checked the database DML modification for that user, and I didn't check this capture SQL statement for DML and select activity and so on. Audit thresholds is, well, is the threshold, you know, the warning is 100, metric, critical is 150 per hour. This is the yellow and the red colors. If I come back onto the summary, look, the yellow color, and this is due to my settings in the auditing thresholds tab. And that is the reason why I get yellow, because it's more than 100 event alerts per hour, right? So that's again, regarding the visibility, it can be useful to have this kind of colors. And then I did that at the SQL Server level, but I can also do that at the database level, right-clicking, properties, and then I can choose to change something at the database level only, meaning that all the other databases won't have the same settings related to the trusted users, to the auditing settings. So let's come back to the one. Nothing there. Okay, so I get the same audited activities at that database level with other choices, but there are two other tabs, if you can see there, the before and after data. Then I decided to audit the before and after data for the table votes. So if I edit it, I will see for the table votes, I got some 3 columns: post ID, user ID, and vote type ID. I want to trace the changes of values for the 3 columns. And in case of there are, for example, hundreds and hundreds of rows in that table, I don't want to capture all the data because of a huge staff of the product. I just want to capture the first 10 rows, or the first 10 change data. All right, so that's a way to do it. And the sensitive columns, again, I did it for users table and votes table. So edit, I want to look at the columns, bounty amount, creation date, ID, post ID, and so on. So finally, all columns of that votes table, I want to look at the sensitive data. These are all sensitive for my business. And because we are talking about sensitive, of course, we are talking about GDPR. Let me show you how to proceed with applying a regulation to your database. Right-clicking on the database, apply regulation guideline, and automatically I will start. So it means privileged users, user events, sensitive columns, and permission to list server roles and logins. So next, well, actually, I did already apply the regulation GDPR and the PCI for that particular IDR form database, but this is how to proceed. You check the boxes and then you click the next. So for example, you check another one, next. I will choose what kind of events I want to audit for that particular database in that regulation, and that's it, and next, and so on. If I want to audit, to add some privileged users, and so on and so on. So that is very simple to do that at the database level, but also again at the SQL Server level, apply regulation guideline. And I will do at a server level to apply that regulation. Again, well, I did the GDPR at the SQL Server level. So very simple product to use. Administration, if you want to add some rules, and a rule is to receive an email. By default, you don't, there is no rules, meaning that there is no possibility of receiving an email from the product. So you have to create your rule, a rule for event, a rule for status, a rule for data, up to you. If I click on events, I want to receive an email. Well, for security changes or for DDL or DML, up to you, or for login activity, generate a medium alert, no, a severe alert only. Next, for which kind of object? SQL Server, database name, object name. For table, for example, what kind of table I want, I have to choose. Maybe if I choose SQL Server, it will be faster. Yes, for that particular server, I want to receive an email. Next, for additional event filters, if I want to privilege users and so on. Next, keep the rule active at all times, and what kind of action I want to set for that rule, email notifications, specified emails, addresses, and so on. And that's it. So very simple to create a new rule, to receive an email automatically when something is changing in real time on your SQL servers. Logins, all about the logins, who can do what in that product. So everything related to the security, and the default audit settings that can be useful if you want to apply a default setting to every new service that you are about to add in the product, or every new database that you are about to add in a SQL server. So you have these settings, default setting, that you can apply for the future. Every time you will add something, it will be set related to that default settings. And I just want to finish that demo with the audit reports. As I said, there are plenty of predefined reports that you can just generate on demand. I don't know if, for example, sensitive column activity, yes, I get only one for every database. Yes, okay, run reports. And that's it. So I will see exactly the sensitive column activity regarding what I did on my, in terms of a setting on my SQL Server ECR LPTP, and especially for the database IDR form. So I did not choose one particular database because I put the wildcard. And finally, only the database IDR forum has some sensitive column activity. Yes, I did that from that business database only. So you select the what about the application activity, or maybe alert activity events, because I created one. So it could be interesting to run a report on that one. Okay, run report. Yes, I got some application IDR form database. Login. So what about the login events? The 18th of July, severe. So this is the activity events reports. So yes, I think we made a great tour about the two products. The time is passing. We are over 5 minutes. If you have any question, please feel free to ask.
תודה רבה לאריק. יש למישהו שאלות שרוצה לשאול, שלא הספיק באמצע הדמו? אוקיי, אנחנו נשלח את ההקלטה של הדמו לכל המשתתפים וגם מי שלא הצליח לעלות. אני מקווה שזה עניין, שבעצם מצאתם עניין במוצר. אנחנו נהיה איתכם בקשר לאחר מכן. ליאור, אתה רוצה להוסיף עוד משהו?
תודה רבה על הזמן. אנחנו נשלח מייל עם פרטים, מי שנדבר איתכם אחרי הסשן הזה, מי שרוצה להתקין גרסת התנסות, אפשר לספק גרסת התנסות ל-14 יום. אנחנו נשלח מייל עם הפרטים, מכתובת מייל, אם אי אפשר לדבר, לתאם וכדומה. זהו, שיהיה לנו ימים שקטים, ועם ישראל חי.
Thank you very much, Eric. And